we've recently sat down with the National Prosecuting Authority, and we were perplexed. Why do they want to prosecute everybody in terms of the Criminal Procedures Act? And we say, but things are so nice and straightforward put in the PFMA. And they tend to get like stuck with saying, but the PFMA doesn't really imply criminality. And we say, no, it clearly allows you to prosecute somebody in terms of the PFMA. As a matter of fact, and I would like to even toy with the idea, although I get very few legal minds to agree with me, simply maybe because where the system of criminal prosecution comes from, is that the PFMA actually allows you to a shortcut, in a manner of speaking, of how you prosecute people, and there's a connection between all of these statements. Obviously, you talk about Section 38 is where things start, and it assigns the duties of the accounting officer. A section that's also quite important, and I always like pointing it out, is in terms of Section 44, is where the accounting officer can delegate his powers. Very important principle. Section 45 is a general obligation on normal employees. But the problem with Section 45 is it doesn't link up to the criminal element. So 38 and 44, both of them are mentioned by name in Section 80, which is our financial misconduct section.
Yeah.
And so you leapfrog from 38 and 40 and all their friends, and then if you, sorry, it's 81, I said 80.
Yeah.
And then 80, they would quote very clearly 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, and 44. So that links you to 81. And once you have been found in breach of 81, then the bad one kicks in, which is then I need to double check my things. I'm inclined to shoot from the hip and then sometimes misquote these things. So I just need to open them up to make sure that I quote the right stuff. Then you'll find that you go to Section 86, which talks about the fact that you're guilty of imprisonment of an offense that could result in imprisonment or fine when you in breach of Section 38, 39, or 40, and obviously for the entities 50 and 51, 55.
Yeah.
So to me, there's a logical flow in the PFMA that and it's very important to say that you don't have to follow the criminal procedures to actually apply Section 86. You literally just have to prove that people are guilty of financial misconduct. But then, and this is where, if you go read Treasury Regulation 4, it talks about the duties of the accounting officer when you have one of these three evils. We call them sometimes UIFW.
Yes,
how to treat that, and it also takes you to a disciplinary procedure, and then it goes to a criminal level. So the reality is, and this is the argument I don't win with the legal community, is that I say, if you read how Treasury Regulation 4 deals with UIFW, up to the point where somebody must be disciplinary charged and then found guilty in the disciplinary procedure of financial misconduct, which then automatically then compels the accounting officer to open up a criminal case against that person. Now, the criminal community thinks they now need to follow the Criminal Procedures Act to prove the criminality, while the guy has basically allowed fruitless and wasteful expenditure, or is allowed unauthorized expenditure, or is allowed unauthorized expenditure. And none of those fits into the definition of crime unless you see people steal money and it becomes theft and fraud, and the PRECA definitions kicks in. But in my view, the simple argument is if you are found guilty in a disciplinary procedure in a state institution, theoretically, all the boxes are checked for you to now be charged in terms of Section 86 of the PFMA. And unfortunately, our justice system has not yet connected the lines. So there's some development that still needs in that space.